Hey team, I'm here today with Gail Cohen, great friend of mine for a long time since my Matrix days. How you doing, Gail?
I'm doing great, Joe. And you?
I'm doing fantastic. Gail is VP of Business Development for Drive Salon Success, and she's here to share some really valuable information with us that you're going to be going over in your upcoming sales meeting. So, Gail, what are we talking about today?
Well, Joe, you know how important scorecards are, but sometimes it's a little difficult getting into that conversation. So today's focus is conversation before the scorecard and after.
Excellent. We all need that kind of coaching and that help to really help us utilize that fantastic tool, that data collection, diagnostic tool that we have from Summit, and make sure we're using it in as many salons as possible. So starting the conversation and then what to do afterwards are two key things that we need to talk about. So help the team. What are some challenges? What gets in the way of starting the conversation in the first place with scorecard?
Well, Joe, I think the biggest challenge is it's difficult to walk in and ask a salon for all of their numbers. Starting out, it's hard to walk in and say, completely open your books and share everything with me. So that's really one of the biggest challenges.
Okay. So now that we understand why we need to be doing scorecards and what gets in the way for us, which we'll absolve in a second, why is it important to be doing a scorecard in the first place?
Joe, absolutely. Well, as you know, it's a challenging time right now in the industry. Across the board, client count is declining, client frequency is declining, the average spend is down. We hear salons talking all the time about how new talent acquisition is a challenge, and without a doubt, every salon is struggling with retail sales, and that's truly critical for their profitability.
Okay, so Gail, what you just gave us is really important, and there couldn't be a more critical time in the industry to be utilizing a scorecard. So give us the key points around the scorecard that a salesperson really needs to understand when they're talking to their salons.
Absolutely, Joe. The scorecard is really a great financial snapshot for the salon. It lets them see the opportunities, where they have the chance to really grow their business, and most importantly, it's a tool that's unique to PPD and exclusive to PPD.
Absolutely. Nobody else has this. And this diagnostic tool is fantastic because it shows the opportunities, shows us what to do. And when people get overwhelmed, they don't feel like they know where to go. The scorecard is going to lay out a clear plan of what to tackle first, second, third, and build their business back up. Fantastic resource.
Absolutely.
What are some questions to start the conversation with a salon about the scorecard?
Well, Joe, it's simple. There are actually 3 questions you can ask that will let you start that conversation with the salon and really give you a great understanding of how the salon's doing from a profitability standpoint. So the 3 questions will give you information around the salon's operating capacity, the salon's overall profitability, and their retail productivity.
So Gail, those are great points. So go into a little bit detail for the team, exactly what we're going to be looking for and what's the information we need to find.
Sure thing, Joe. 3 key questions to ask the salons. Number 1, around operating capacity. We just need to know their number of current service providers, and then also their number of current service provider chairs. That's one that you can really just do by sight. You don't even need to ask that question. Then under salon profitability, we'll need to know their monthly rent and debt. And lastly, you know retail productivity with RTS, but that's all about getting the information on last month's service revenue and retail revenue. So let's start first with operating capacity. The formula is really simple. You simply take the current service providers and divide it by the potential service provider chairs times 2, and that gives you the overall current salon operating capacity.
So Gail, why are we multiplying that number by 2? Why are we doing that?
Well, Joe, the times 2 reflects the double shifting opportunity. To really understand their total capacity, it's measured based on double shifting, and that's the reason for the times 2.
Excellent. Okay, what else do we need to know?
So Joe, let's look at a quick example. Let's say you have a salon with 6 service providers and 8 chairs. You simply take the number of service providers divided by the number of chairs times 2 for double shifting, and that will give you the overall current salon operating capacity. So in this case, it's 6 divided by 8 times 2, or 16, gives you 38%. And that 38%, as you can see here, 8 chairs, 6 stylists, is before double shifting. Once we move into double shifting, we can start looking at the incremental salon capacity and revenue. So we go from active chairs of 6 to 15, 9 incremental. If we assume an average number of guests per chair, per shift, per month of about 100, an average, very conservative service ticket of $75. That equates to incremental monthly service revenue of $67,500. Annually, $810,200. And equating that to product purchases for the sales consultant, that's close to $150,000 in annual incremental product purchases. And the best part about this is with double shifting, you can achieve this without any additional capital expense for the salon.
So Gail, what's the next calculation we're going to talk about?
Well, Joe, the next one's about salon profitability. And again, here, just one question can really get you some great information to be able to start the conversation with the salon. So let's look at the calculation. It's based on knowing the salon's rent and debt. So rent plus debt times 7 gives you the monthly sales target needed for break even. If you multiply that by 10, it gives you the monthly sales target needed to generate a profit. Now, what's great about this is even if the salon isn't comfortable giving you their debt, they probably will be comfortable talking to you about what their rent is each month. So if you use that as a baseline, take the rent times 7, that will tell you the minimum the salon needs to be doing in monthly revenue in order to be able to have a break-even point. If you know their sales and you know that they're not at that point, then the salon truly needs our help in terms of helping them to generate more sales and become more productive.
So it's a great indicator for us to know. I mean, you can basically look at that information pretty easily and do the calculation. It's going to show whether you really should be spending time with that salon, what the opportunity could be with that salon, and really what the investment in your time should be with that salon. We can help a lot of salons understanding this piece, so it's easy for us to gather this information. It's a great way to start the conversation about a scorecard. What's the next calculation that we could do to lead to a scorecard and great execution?
Joe, the third and last one is about retail productivity. And the great thing is, it's RTS. Retail revenue divided by the service revenue gives you that RTS calculation. And as you know, we measured anywhere from 0 to 20% plus, really wanting our salons to be in that 20% plus category.
So Gail, those are great tools for us to use to gather up information pre-scorecard to help that scorecard conversation go forward, add credibility on the part of this SSC, and also show the salon what we could do with them and how we could help them. So now let's talk about, we talked about before, we're going to do a scorecard, let's talk about after. What's the first thing that we could do? What's our tools to really get them enrolled in Summit after we do a scorecard?
Joe, there are 3 great tools to utilize. If the salon is ready to commit to Summit, let's go ahead and schedule their intake. You can go right online. The great part about this is you can actually schedule it for when it's convenient for the salon, by date and by time. Get them locked in, and it's a fabulous opportunity to have that committal right on the spot. If the salon's not quite ready, there's another great tool to utilize, and that's the complimentary 1-hour consultation. Simply sign the salon up for a 1-hour consultation, and they'll be able to spend that time with Summit. A Summit coach will contact them and have a great one-on-one conversation with them over the course of the hour. A great way for a salon to get familiar with Summit and be able to see all that Summit can provide for their salon.
So we had the intake, and we have the consultation. What's left?
Joe, another great opportunity is the webinar. Again, if the salon is still a bit on the fence, sign them up for one of the remaining webinars this year. There are 3 webinars still scheduled this year, July 24th, July 26th, and September 27th. It's a great way for a salon to get familiar with Summit. It's a 1-hour webinar in the evening, and the best part about it is they'll get exposed to the top 10 salon challenges, quick tips and quick hints as to how to solve that, and really a great entree into the world of Summit.
I know a lot of sales consultants have brought salons to this. If you haven't yet, talk to your peers. How did they prepare the salon? Were they with the salon when they went through the call or the webinar? What did they do afterwards? Understand the value of these tools, which are free. The webinar is a great way to get somebody moving along, and then you can build from there. So utilize these resources that we have. And 3 more left this year. Let's get salons to them, and let's get on the WebEx and get them moving into the process. So Gail, I understand Summit. I know we have the conversation. beforehand, before the scorecard. We do the scorecard. We have the tools after the scorecard that we just talked about. We get the salon to summit. Now, I understand post-summit there's been some changes in pricing and procedure. Let's outline that for the team so everybody knows exactly what's happened and how to move forward.
Absolutely, Joe. There has indeed been a change with how we handle the post-summit consulting visits. So let's talk through that and we'll go through all the details. All salons, after they attend Summit, are eligible for up to 4 coaching visits, regardless of the brands they carry. The big change is that prior to coaching visit number 5, the salon must make the commitment to PPD and transition to a PPD permanent color line and utilize or retail one or more of the PPD retail lines.
And that's super important. We need to engage with partners that are going to partner with us and commit to us, and that bringing on the color line and the retail piece is really important for them to do. It's going to help us really push the benefits of Summit through the salon much easier.
Absolutely, Joe. PPD is a great partner with Summit, and that's why we've come to this agreement and really want to make sure that prior to visit number 5, we want to make sure that that salon is transitioned to a PPD permanent color line and a PPD retail line.
So Gail, great information. I think we can all agree that that's a valid ask and a valid commitment that we need to collaborate going forward if we're going to invest all these time and resources. Now talk to me about pricing.
Absolutely, Joe. To help the transition for the salon, we've changed the pricing a bit on the post-summit consulting pricing for the 4 visits. If it's a non-PPD salon, the cost is $8,000. For a PPD salon, they receive a discounted rate of $6,900. If a salon doesn't carry a PPD brand and would like to transition, PPD will support them with a discounted rate of $6,900 in order to offset the cost of bringing in a PPD line. So it's a great opportunity to get that salon to do the transition, PPD helping them with a discounted rate to make the move into a PPD color and PPD care line.
I love that, easing them into that part because, we don't want to seem like we're forcing anything in there, but and this will help pave the way to get the PPD product in there. And if they're willing to go right away, it saves everybody money up front.
Absolutely. That savings could be used toward intro kits on color and care, a fabulous opportunity to have that conversation and have the salon make that transition into PPD permanent color and PPD retail.
So team, we covered a lot here. The information to help start the conversation before scorecard, what questions to ask, what tools that we have, and then post scorecard, how to really bring that salon to the next step, get them enrolled in Summit. And then we covered the pricing changes. Pretty simple, straightforward stuff. I think there's a piece of collaboration there and understanding that makes it all worthwhile. Now, upcoming in your WebEx, you're going to see dates for 2018. You're going to see really more information about the remaining summits for this year, location-wise. So a lot of good information is going to be shared with you there. Do a quick review of this information, make sure everybody has it, answer any questions, and we'll be good to go. So we should see a big rise in scorecards. Get the confidence, practice. The only way to get better at this is to do it. And believe me, as Gail said, this is a great diagnostic tool for the salon. They're going to love it because it's going to change their way of life. So Gail, thanks for being here and sharing all that great information with the team.
Thank you, Joe, for having me. We're excited about the pre and post scorecard, and we're excited to share this all with everyone out there.
All right, team, get out there, utilize this information, have some fun. Take care.